Welcome to today's episode of Devision Tech Talk. We're talking about European Fintech expansion with a special guest, Wouter Bens, CCO of The Connector. It's great to have you here. Can you tell us about yourself and how you've helped tech companies grow in the European Fintech sector?
First of all, Vasila, thank you very much for hosting me. So I'm very excited to be on the podcast. I heard a bit about this podcast and I'm looking forward to get with you into details about what we do, about how we can help and about the European fintech environment. So first of all, I'm the CCO and the co-founder of The Connector. What we do, we're a company who specialized in creating a bridge, an international bridge worldwide and most focused on Europe. For fintech and financial institutions, what we exactly do is we help fintech to get into financial institutions with a network of all senior sales guys and with a huge network of financial institutions. What I do, especially in my journey, is finding out what all the new technologies are, what all the new fintechs are. And then I go look around and talk with a lot of banks, what their challenges are, where they want to go to and where they want to get to, and how I can help them with finding the right financial technologies. And then I put the right parties around the table. That's why we say I connect the dots, the connector. My background, I worked in cyber risk and security. I worked in banking. So I got the technical side. I got the finance side. And that is how we created our company, by really get to know the technology side, understand how they work, understand how they need to scale, see how we can help them, and then look at the other side. We know how the banking works. We know how the finance works. And then we get to create alliance. So next to that, we're also busy with a lot of funding, M&A, helping companies find the right parties to invest, to grow. We really try to do the whole fintech scaling journey. So this is a bit my insights, and I will explain you a bit more on the following questions. I'm sure Vasila got a few very good questions that I will be able to answer on.
With this big background, with this huge background you have, I'm sure you did it.
Thank you. Yeah, we will see. Maybe there are a few questions that we'll have to think a bit further, but we will get there and we will try to make this as interesting as possible. So thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure is ours. So fascinating. Let's explore this further. Entering the European fintech market can be tricky. What are the first steps you advise fintech companies to take? And how crucial is having a clear next step plan in this process?
So, like I said, with The Connector, we are really busy at analyzing the European market and helping companies from all over the world to get into Europe. And if we look at this, we see that Europe is not the typical way to get in there. There are a few things, there are 3 points I always tell people what they need to do before they go somewhere, before they go to Europe. And one of them is market analysis. It's like really understand the requirements and the individual parts of the European market. And not even talking about like countries, but talking about cultures. I will talk about that in the next point. So first point, the market analysis. Is my product, does it has the requirements to come to Europe? And then the localization. Okay, I got the requirements, but where do I going to go? Where do you going to start? For example, in Belgium themselves, you got 2 markets. You got the Flemish market, you got the French market, the Wallonian market. But next to Belgium, we got the France. France was all French. It's not the same as the Wallonian, it's not the same as the Flemish market. And the Flemish market is not the same as the Dutch market. Okay, they speak the 3 languages, they speak 2 languages, French and Dutch, but the 4 markets are completely different. So you need to know how they're going to approach this, how they're going to analyze this, how they're going to play on these differences. And these differences can be an advantage, at the same time also a disadvantage. It all depends on how you approach this. And then the third one is the strategic partners. It's like looking for the right partnerships all over Europe to work with and to grow. And that is what we as a Connector were busy with a lot, because we realized that as a Connector, we're based in Belgium, but we're growing more and more. I will explain that later. But we realized that with only Belgian people, we were not going to make it. So we had to grow, and we're helping from all over Europe with all kind of cultures, with all kind of languages. We help people to get in all kind of different financial institutions or tech platforms. So go look for the right partnerships. Go look for the financial institutions that can help you. Go look for tech platforms. Look for special partnerships who can create credibility or give you useful insights. So the 3 parts were like market analysis, localization, strategic partnerships. And with this, you're going to create a well-defined strategy, a well-defined knowledge about how to do this. And then you're going to look for the right resources on your strategy that you determined. Then it's just the right steps. But first of all, to take the 3 steps of market analysis, localization, strategic partnerships.
Yeah, great insights. Let's delve deeper into that. Europe has many cultures, as you mentioned. It has also many rules and customer habits. What is the way to help fintech companies to grow while dealing with these differences? Can you share a recent success story about a great scaling one you guided?
Yeah, that's no problem. So let's first talk a bit what is Europe. Europe is 450 million people. That's a bigger market than the US. The difference is the US only speaks one language. And in Europe, we speak, I don't know how much, but more than there are countries, so more is 32. So if you look at that, what are the differences? What are the difficulties? If we look again at the DACH region, let's look at Belgium, for example, 2 languages, 3 languages. Person of Flanders will never accept a sales guy from the Netherlands who speaks the same language, or will never accept a French sales guy. People of Flanders will only accept a Flemish sales guy, and a Flemish sales guy will also be able, if he speaks French, to sell in France and into the Walloonies, and also in the Netherlands.
Quite complex.
So yeah, it's quite complex. It's a bit weird to explain that, but like the same thing, a lot of people think they can sell in Germany very easily. But if I speak to my senior guys who have been selling 25 years in Germany, they all agree that if you cannot have the first discussion in German, they will never trust you at the same level. So what I want to say is, how do you deal with these differences? Is don't only trust other people close to you. It's like, go look for employees wherever, or go look for partnerships who can cover zones that are difficult to cover in the beginning. For example, I'm specialized. I speak French, I speak English, I speak Dutch. So first of all, I was covering the Benelux because I worked in French in a Parisian company. I said, going to cover Paris and France. My business partner who worked 25 years is covering the DACH region because he's been working a lot in Frankfurt and in Zurich. And then we were like, okay, we got Benelux, we got the DACH, we got France, we got those covered. But how are we going to go to everywhere else? And that is where we had to look ourselves for partnerships. So now we got more as 8 senior profiles. And we're covering all the Nordics. We're covering Austria, Swiss, also Germany, the DACH region. We're covering the Benelux, but we're also covering Ireland and UK. And you see that we had to look for the senior profiles to cover those markets to grow as fast as possible because of those culture differences. If you're very direct in the Netherlands, that's good. If you're very direct in France, they will look very weird at you. For France, you need to work to get in there. Like a deal there with a normal deal would take 1.5 years in Belgium or in the Netherlands, will take 2 years, 2.5 years in France. It's all different cultures. But then the question of, do I have some success stories? Yeah, we have some success stories. We've been working with Danish companies. So what we do is getting technologies from all over the world. For example, from this example, from Danish company to the Benelux. And there we had, we plugged in the market. We looked through the market of all the family offices, and we went diving into the market and really like looking for the low-hanging fruits for this company. And after a few months, we already had the sale. And there we see that the value of a guy who worked, because my business partner was CEO of a Dutch tech company. And before that, he was a general manager at Bink Bank. It's now Saxo Bank. We see that this guy, who's been working more as 20 years in the Netherlands, has experience in talking with the Dutch companies. And due to this culture, to the way he talks, the way he knows this culture, the way he knows how to react on which moment, we had very fast a sale. And that's where we believe that if you have the right people in the right culture, you can shorten the sales process a lot, really a lot. If you can go into personal discussions, because at the end, you don't sell a product, you sell a person, you sell to a person. So
personalities, yeah.
Yeah, if you like, the person likes you, then the product is less important because the trust value is there. And you see, if you use the cultures, it's much easier to sell. I have a lot of examples of American companies that thought to come to Europe. They arrived here. They said, we're going to do this. We're the best, whatever. We're going to do this. And all our contact just said, after one meeting, we don't want to talk to them anymore.
Oh, you've given us a lot to consider. It's about this culture match and the right moment, the right guy at this right moment, yeah. Now let's discuss. We all agree Europe's fintech market is tough. And you mentioned a few tips for fintech companies from outside Europe who try to make it here. But what mistakes should they avoid?
So, what's mistakes should they avoid? That's a good question. So, it's a few things that I will repeat from that second question. So, it's a fiercely competitive market, and what my former CEO always said: if there is competition, there is a reason to be there, because it means you can sell. So it means it's a difficult market. There is money to get there. There's the money to get. So it's a way how to look at it. It's a way how to approach. The first thing is market research. Always know what's going to happen and what is hot in the market. You're going to see there's a lot of differences in culture, but also in regulations. Know what they're looking for. Know how the market is developing, where they're going to. If you see markets in wealth tech, for example, in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany are much more advanced than wealth tech in Italy, for example, and Spain. And so don't think because your product is selling very good in one country that the other country is needing it. So always do your market research. Where do I start? So, like I said, the American company who said to us, "I'm going to come to Europe," and we present them. We did first market research, and we said to them, "It's too fast. It's not the moment to come to Europe. You're not ready to all the regulations." They said, "Yeah, but we know MiFID. We know the regulations." We said, "No, don't care about those things. You need to be more up to date with all the other stuff." And they were like, "No, just push us a few meetings." And there, the meetings just went off, and we stopped the collaboration because we were scared of killing our connections with our relationships with our people. Other thing is, be careful when you come with a scale-up, a startup. Be careful if you come, so after market research, be careful if you come to Europe with just the idea of, I'm going to start selling to banks. I'm going to start selling to big companies. Huge corporations and financial institutions are scared of working with startups and scale-ups. We saw a huge scale-up and startup boom the last years, and now it's going down because a lot of companies and financial institutions saw their technologies they started with, they just went bankrupt, they disappeared. So they're very scared to start with new companies. So bring references, bring proof of concepts. Try, if you come to go to another country, to have already something that can say, damn, I can prove I can do this, because otherwise it's going to be a hard nut to crack.
Yeah, excellent point. And if I may wrap it up, no rush, no push, always a good strategy when you enter some market. And here's another question. You mentioned the rules. Fintech rules change a lot. And how do you help your clients follow the rules as they shift in different European countries? What advice do you always give to make sure they do well in the long run?
The rules. That's a hard thing, the regulatory part. One of the things I always advise is stay up to date. Stay ahead. See what's going on in regulatory part. We see that a lot of banks wait till the regulatory part is issued. Regulatory lines are issued before they jump in. But at the same time, they're always looking for the people who can help them how to regulate things. Now ESG is coming, and the banks don't know what to do with it. They're asking around, how do we going to do it? How are we going to implement it? And they don't find technologies. If you are ahead with this, if you're playing on the regulations that are coming, you got much more ears that listen to you. So stay ahead. Use the guidelines as an advantage. Use it as a go-to. So also use the diversify. Make yourself so busy with those regulations that it's going to be your competition advantage, and go for it. Go forward with it and sell it like this. At the same time, also don't think that your product is the best thing on the market, and don't believe too much in your product. Always have the balls to do a step back. It's not because your product is good for the moment that it's going to stay good. And think about your positioning. It can be that your product is perfect, but you're just doing the branding completely wrong, that you're pointing out a wrong aspect of your product. We have seen that with a company we worked with. They had a perfectly fine product, but the way they were selling it, everybody was scared of it. So we had to rebrand it, put it out in a different way in the market, and now everybody's jumping on it. And that's a very important thing. Like, first of all, user regulation to diversify yourself, and second of all, don't be cocky. Your product may be good, but maybe the way you put it out is not good. Let's take a step back and analyze.
Well said. Now, on to other aspect. As fintech grows, what tech methods do you suggest for a steady growth in Europe? And what new tech trends should companies keep an eye on as they plan to expand?
One of the things I always see is that big companies are scared from, like, okay, we take you aboard. You're a small company, we take you aboard. But what does it mean? Does it mean you're now very good and in a few years you're bad? We need something that it's stable, that it's good, that it keeps growing. So continuous innovation. A financial industry it's an industry is driven by technology. And so they always need to grow. So keep innovating. Don't be the cocky one, like I said before, and think your product is fine. It's the best. No, always find how it can stay the best, how it can keep growing. Another thing is user centricity. It's about the user is number one. If you can sell it to 20 banks, but nobody can use it, you will be out of the 20 banks in a few minutes. So make it user friendly. Make it the thing everybody can learn to use and they can use it. And they cannot use, like, they buy a BMW, but they use it like Dacia, whatever. I mean, make it easy that they understand every part of the car, of every part of the technology, that it's very user friendly. And then the other thing, ESG. Easy, shoot. That's not just a buzzword.
We had a blog post about this ESG the last week, so it's there.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Everybody's jumping on it. Everybody is aware of it. Everybody's scared of it, even more in Europe, because you cannot be on the market without ESG. And the same with AI. If you put AI in it, then everybody wants to listen. So these three: continuous innovation, the user centricity, and ESG and AI, go for it. Those are the things you need to look at.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, Wouter, on this insightful journey. We hope you found our conversation as engaging as we did. Remember to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more exciting episodes. Until next time, stay inspired and keep innovating.